It has been suggested to camp somewhere else, and I guess I'm willing to do it. We could go somewhere else today, maybe. If we try another place, I won't put up a stager right now. I will simply fly my ships from from this stager there to test, and then if it shows any promise, I will create a stager there. Let's see. Can we maybe figure out um, what the insurgency systems are? Incursions. Are those sunshine incursion? Okay, that's different. That's just sunshine incursion. So those are like PvE events. That's different. What I'm talking about is the oh yeah, there it is. It's a dedicated meme for it. I think I need dot land for this. The map is not really understandable very well. It's in Metropolis. This is all Metropolis. This is in Essence. Metropolis, Essence. Black Rise. Citadel. Black Rise. Alright, so Metropolis, Black Rise, Citadel, Essence. Sure. You might have a wormhole opportunity, apparently. Alright, so there was talk of going to these insurgencies. Right? Let's Alright, so it was Metropolis, right? Let's go to Dotlan and see what's next to Metropolis. Metro booming. Oh, I'm not experienced with this site. Not sure how to read this. Where are the connecting regions? Red. Red. Oh yeah, yeah. That's how that works. I see. Um, Purity. Alright, let's see if we can find out the insurgency stuff. Contested. Are those Egmar? That doesn't look like the... Wasn't it Ezur or something? Ezur, yeah. Let's find Ezur here. There it is. And there is this rainbow flag on it. Oh, that's letting you know what's in the system. Refining, industry, research, cloning. But this one has everything. That's what it means. How would we know there's an insurgency here? Gents. Amar, Minmatar, Amar. Alright, so it doesn't say here. I'm just laughing at stuff happening in Discord. um, yeah, somebody wanted to discreetly ask everybody on the Discord who wants to join a wormhole eviction without giving away like who was asking and stuff, and the first response was like Kartoffelbauer saying he could get a group for 20 billion, you know, like he could contact, I guess, an eviction group maybe, and and then the guy who the guy who wanted me to keep it a little bit on the down low just immediately chimes in and, in my opinion, gives away the identity of the employer. It's not a big deal though. Almost certainly this information is not going to make its way to whoever is about to be hit. But yeah, Azurus down here. It has a blue circle. It's an ice belt circle, I think. It has like a aura around it, which I think means it's contested. Does it? I admit I don't really I don't really see how you can know that there's an incursion or whatever it's called. Whether there is or is not pirate urgency. Stage 3, stage 4, stage 3. It's isn't it stage 5 that the bubbles come online? Oh my god. Alright, we gotta go to the wiki. Find out. Eve, insurgency, corruption. Stage 1. PvP loot, irrelevant. Whoa. I ran out of disk space. I've been forgetting to delete my old VODs. Alright, but now we're recording again. Yeah. Yeah, 5. Yeah, and then you get the fancy triangle. Okay. Okay. Ugh. Oh, maybe it's here. No. Now we're 7th, huh? Number of systems. Jesus Christ. A lot of accounts. Shadow Ultimatum is on the top 10. Oh my god. Oh, right there. Incursions. Wait. No, 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 that's different. I want insurgency, not incursion. Let's just use the in-game map to find the insurgency, and we use the we use the dotlan to look at implications of that corruption. Okay. Stage 5. That is unfortunately not bubble camp territory. It is just gate camp territory. That is bubble camp. Bubble camp. Bubble camp. Bubble. These are all Garista pirates. I believe I am only allowed to be with the Angel pirates if I'm gonna be pirate at all. What exactly did it say? Like, can anyone use bubbles, or was it? Did you have to be in the militia? Players, launchers, generators, bombs, defenders. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's take a look then. Alright, Essence, Essence, it's all Essence, and Black Rise and Citadel, right? Or Bleak Rise, was it? Nah, just Citadel, really. Hmm. Right now, I'm not quite understanding how this would work for the SIG because the insurgency is gonna pass, right? Um, and who would we negotiate with? Like, if we imagine we gate camped some place in high sec, just for the sake of argument. Let's say we did suicide ganking in Uedema or whatever, right? Um, the people we're squeezing are the people who want to travel through that system, right? Um, it would be very boring because there's no fights there, you know, like it's just suicide ganking. So like, I feel like it doesn't quite count as making money from PvP because it's really just checking who has too much cargo for their tankiness, you know. Like I wouldn't really call it PvP. As far as I know, there is no fighting back at all. If we did that though, we could collect protection payments to leave specific accounts alone, maybe. Um, maybe. But anyone can do it. Anyone can stage from there. Anyone, like we have no moat, right? And I mean, there's already other pirates ready to suicide gank the freighters, right? So we don't really have like a lot to sell. Like our service is that we like the thing we're selling is that we leave them alone. So in high sec, like what do we have to sell? Because like let's say we leave them alone, then well there's other pirates who are just gonna pick up the slack anyway. So I don't think that really works. And I feel like this is a little bit similar, maybe. Go by jumps. We are already doing jumps. Where's the Devon or whatever? That. Hmm. A lot of jumps. Hmm. Yeah, there is a lot of jumps. I'm just kind of scratching my head right now, going like, how does this work again? Like like how will this ever lead to us making any money? Because with the gate camp, it's sort of obvious. Like the camp down here is sort of obvious. We negotiate with the people who live there after we've proven we can kick their ass, which we can't right now because we're bad and low numbers. But um um But hypothetically, if we got good, we would be able to make money from this, right? Because we would just negotiate with the people there. But I'm wondering how would low sec work, because I guess we would need to talk to individual pilots, because everybody lives wherever they want in low sec, right? I mean, there's public docking infrastructure, right? But that's the problem, is anyone can do it, right? In the same way anyone can do it in high sec, anyone can do it in low sec too. There's public docking infrastructure. There's no moat, right? Whereas doing it here is like I'm using the public stuff here, but then we're putting in some effort to find a way to get to here. We're gonna get carriers and stuff to easily get to here. So we have a certain kind of barrier to entry, which is why lots of people aren't already doing this. And that means it makes more sense to ask us to leave by paying us. But okay, I guess honestly, I don't really see why this would work. I'm at the point now where there isn't really any point in trying to figure it out, because I just don't think it makes any sense. So we'll just have to try it in case there's just something I'm missing. Long jump. What is this insane jump connection? Is this Pochman? Did we just find Pochman? It is. Huh. Yeah, I'll ignore it because it's not even connected to the rest of the universe. Yeah, I'm not gonna get anywhere here. It's just like the only choice is to try it or not, which I don't want to do right now. Alright, let's head up. I am going to inject on my main a carrier, and I'm going to inject on my second account an Arazu. So I can transport any ships into the camp. Alright, let's go. Probably we're just gonna sit there and have nothing we can fight. That's how the game works, of course. They will show up with enough to counter whatever you show. But maybe not. Yesterday it was squalls that outlasted my DPS long enough to kill my scepter, or at least would have killed it if I didn't warp the scepter off. And at the end, I took the challenge and I fought a crusader a few times, and I got my ass kicked every time. My scepter died to his combat scepter way before my Tengu could kill it. The last few days I've done like 8-hour streams, 6-hour streams. Like that stuff needs to stop. It's not healthy at all. Lose track of time and stuff. I think it's more important to do it like consistently rather than do like a large average output. Like maybe if I do 4 hours per day, but like at random times, it's going to be less effective than if I do it at the same time every day, but I do only 2 hours, for example. I'll try to do something kind of around this time. I'll try to do. I have a buddy called Professor. He lives in India, and he'd go to sleep now, because it's too late for him. But I would try to do. I guess I'll try to do the time zone where he could join like before going to sleep, and then within like 2 hours before he goes to sleep is probably what I'll aim for. Start time. Hmm. Gaffelbauer is saying evictions suck because you got to maintain hold control for 5 days and you get 0 or 1 fight. That sounds horrible. Not mincing words. Is it one of those boring and soul crushing activities in the game? Yeah, it might be true. Yeah. All right. Get that bubble up. I mean, I might be camping the wrong thing. Um, Maybe I should camp. There's a case to be made for. There's basically 6 points we can camp in here because the points of interest are the Ansiblex, the XHQ gate, and the NTAC RMSH gate because that leads to their other Ansiblex. Oh, now I no longer have jump access. Lol. Must have been a mistake. Huh. Well, that's hilarious. They somehow added me by mistake. That's the weirdest thing ever. How would that even happen? Alright. Um, that's really funny. The fact that I lost the access now means it was a mistake, which is hilarious. But yeah, so the points of interest are the gate down there, this Ansiblex, and the Stargate over there, right? So there's kind of like there's 3 points of interest, right? And then you can do a pair between each of them, which is there's three three ways to warp, right? And then there's two sides to each, right? Like if I put a bubble over here between the XHQ gate, I'll be blocking people who are coming from the XHQ gate to this place. If I block for the NTAC R gate, I'll be blocking people who are coming from NTAC R to this thing, right? That's how it works. And then, although with a medium bubble, I suppose I could just turn the whole Ansiblex off. That would of course block both. But then there's also the other side, right? Like I could also where are you going? Yeah, like I could also sit on the NTAC R gate and take people who are coming from the Ansiblex to there, for example. There's really six places to camp in this system. Maybe 5 if you use a medium on their Ansiblex to just turn it off. I guess we could do that. I'm kind of in the mood for setting it up. Oh, is that Ria Nifa? No. No. I thought that was like my friend from this area, basically. Ria Niaf Nanodesu or whatever. Yeah, maybe we should construct the cube over here. I will inject that carrier, so probably jump to here. Oh yeah, there was that jump planner feature, right? On Dotlan. I'm actually gonna go take a look at it now. What do I turn off to turn like the damage control? I just want to cloak. Alaidosis. One of the people I've killed the most. Uh, what was I doing? I wanted to cloak because I wanted to go to Dotland. I wanted to do jump range check. Which was the route planner, if I remember correctly. Where's the route planner? Navigation. System. Era. Add. JEIV. Actually, we don't want to be in JEIV. We want to be in right next to it. We want to be in the system that nobody goes to. there's only jumps in the last hour, which is not exactly the best. Yeah, there we go. Where's JEIV? Yeah, OTAC Y. That's where we're gonna go. There we go. Yeah, easy. 3.46, it's not even close. 5 jumps? What? Oh, 5 Stargate jumps, I see. That's the cost of jumping. That's like nothing, right? 6227. Helium. Yeah, it's nothing. It's in the millions. It costs like 6 million to do it. Maybe it costs more to light the Sino. Who knows? Alright, that was what we wanted to check. Go back to the game. Alright, let's build a cube over here. Using my new and improved method. Involving cans in space. Actually, I was told to look into something called Q piloting, and I have a suspicion what it might be, which would be really very useful here. Q piloting. Q clicking. Let's see. If it's what I think it is, then you can just select a point as your destination, right?
Welcome back to the Insane Asylum.
Wait, what? Fuck even is Bohemian Mechanics? I don't remember. But first.
This is your host, Commander Silent with the Initiative. This lesson, I want to give a quick tutorial on the manual piloting method known as Q-clicking. So I am in this nullsec anomaly killing rats, and I am manually piloting around these blob of ships by the Q-click method. So the Q-click method consists of holding the Q key, which is the default key for Q-clicking, and that's the name Q-clicking. So I'm going to hold the Q key, and I'm going to double left click, or left click twice into space. So if I hold Q, then I click twice. There you go. I just changed my Q-click vector. So
oh, is it the Homeworld movement disc? I played a lot of Homeworld. It's one of my favorite games. Is it literally just a movement disc?
Click is going to define a point in space that my ship is then going to fly straight towards. And how I can use that is just by continuously updating the direction I am flying via the cube.
I mean, dude, this literally just does what I need it to do. Because my goal is to travel 300 kilometers out, exactly, in a to a position, right? I'm trying to like get the headings to line up and all that stuff, but like this is literally a perfect method because you're defining your destination rather than just defining a heading.
Clicking. So it's a little bit more nuanced than just hold Q and then double left clicking. So each left click does a different thing. So once I hold Q, it brings up the Q click cursor. This allows me to define the range and direction
Yes.
that I'm going to direct the
Then
ship
the next one is going to be the altitude, right? So it's literally a home world movement disk.
And then when I left click the first time, it will lock that range and direction in. So let's do it here. Now once I've done that, I can go up or down.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a bad example. So once I lock in my direction, going up or down defines the elevation to the ship. Then when
it's even arguably even better than the homeworld movement disk. Maybe. Actually, I don't know. And this might be worse. In homeworld, you would have just chosen the altitude. So, here to get to here, you have to first go further out. You know, to do the math in your head, and then you find the equivalent. You know. If this place is at 80 kilometers from you, you need to go 80 kilometers to here to get to this.
left click the second time, it's going to lock in that elevation. So there you go. So hold Q, click once, click a second time to lock it in, and you can see my ship is now going to move over in that direction.
That's
So
massively useful.
Q click manually piloting.
Now we just need to figure out what it's called. Need to figure out what this
Quantum mechanics.
Need to figure out what this command is called. What would it be called? Navigation, right? Oh, it's not on this screen. Location menu. That might be it. Yeah, I'm using everything up to K. Shift anyway. Okay, so we're using everything up to K. Everything up to I, and also 8. We could use 9, 0, I guess. I'll use the L key. That one's free, and you know, L for location. Also use another key like the tilde key. If I end up using this in PvP in general, I mean, I want it at hand, but just for now, we can use the L key. Location menu. Let us test what it does right now. Okay. Well, we don't need that. What? This key doesn't do anything, and it tells you to right-click in space to open the location menu directly. It's a worse version of the same command that it was just on, because it opened the screen. What the heck? Alright, wait. It can't be a window, right? Could it be like approach or something? Or a line 2? Could it be a line 2? No. Oh. It's just approach. Okay. Well, it's good that we've found it. Alright, I guess we'll assign it here too. Alright. See how it goes. I suppose step 1 is to get the altitude right, and then go from there. Alright, now I want to listen to that video about Bohemian mechanics being ruled out.
Mechanics is more than a century old, and physicists have argued about its meaning for almost as long. One of the most beloved interpretations comes from David Bohm. It has it that quantum mechanics is really about point-like particles that follow a guiding wave. This interpretation, now called Bohmian mechanics, has now been ruled out by experiment. That's a pretty big deal after 70 years of argument. You could almost call it progress. In the standard formulation of quantum physics, everything is described by a wave function. The wave function itself is not observable. We just use it as a tool to calculate the probabilities with which we observe measurement results. In quantum physics, we can't predict exactly what the measurement outcome is, just this probability. It's therefore a non-deterministic theory with a fundamentally random element. Bohmian mechanics, sometimes called pilot wave theory, was proposed by David Bohm about 70 years ago. At first glance, it seems to be just a reformulation of the mathematics of quantum physics. One takes the wave function apart into an equation for a guiding field, plus the equation for particles moving in that field. One then says, well, but we didn't know exactly where the particles started. We just have a probability distribution of starting positions. And correspondingly, we get a probability for the possible end positions. This means that the observations in Bohmian mechanics are still probabilistic, but one chalks up the probability to our lack of knowledge about where the particle really was. This rewriting of quantum mechanics is appealing if you prefer working with particles. But it's not just a reinterpretation. For one thing, in Bohmian mechanics, you can really only measure particle positions, whereas in standard quantum mechanics, we measure all kinds of different things: energy, spin, momentum. And this is why in Bohmian mechanics, you have to dance around quite a bit to explain why a spin measurement is really just a measurement of the position of something. The other issue is that if you take the formalism seriously, then Bohmian particles are physically real. It's this latter point that the new experiment has just bluntly ruled out. What did they do? For this experiment, they let photons, quanta of light, travel in a thin gap between two mirrors. In the one mirror, they've tiny valleys carved in, so that creates a basically one-dimensional waveguide. And the mirrors are not perfectly reflective. A small part of the photons leak, and that allows the scientists to measure what's going on inside the waveguide. The waveguide first gets deeper, so the photons have more space, and then it suddenly makes a jump and gets thinner again. This is like a sudden block, and for the photons, it's like hitting a wall. But just before the block, they add a second guide next to the first. This is close enough so that the photons can tunnel from the blocked path to the other. What will happen then is that the photons will tunnel into this other waveguide and then distribute into this. A tunneling process in quantum mechanics means that it's possible for a particle to go through a barrier even though its energy isn't high enough. If the particle didn't have quantum properties, tunneling would be impossible. But with quantum properties, it has a chance. The question they want to answer in this experiment is, what do the photons do after they tunnel? This is an interesting question because Bohmian mechanics makes a prediction. It says the particles just sit there. They have basically zero velocity. So what they measure in this experiment is how the second waveguide fills up, the one into which the photons have tunneled, and they find that the photons spread from the point where they appeared. This means they didn't have zero velocity. That is, their result directly disagrees with the Bohmian mechanics interpretation, but it is, of course, neatly compatible with standard quantum mechanics. But what does it mean? Does it really mean that Bohmian mechanics is wrong? Well, yes and no. It means that you can't identify the particles of Bohmian mechanics with the particles that we actually observe, like the particles in the standard model. But in some sense, we knew this already, because the particles in Bohmian mechanics are point particles, and the particles that we measure are not. They have spatial extent. They interact. They smear. Some of them have careers in politics. Personally, I never understood why people like a theory with point particles. I don't think that something infinitesimally small can be real. That said, I was thinking we'd never make progress on that, and yet here we are. On my bullshit meter, I give it a 1 out of 10. It's a really neat experiment, though I think they're slightly overstating the relevance for Bohmian mechanics. So Bohmian particles don't match the particles we measure, which I suppose makes them like most of my life goals, well defined, internally consistent, and entirely unobservable. I used to get a lot of scam calls. I found out that this happened because my phone number.
Yeah, this guy, he's in the Amar RP Alliance, and this fireworks is has specific lore about possession being frowned upon. This is like a Minmatar symbol. What the fuck? All right. So my thinking is we can go there, then we go 10 up, then we are perfectly aligned. Actually, we could have just gone in this direction. Because I was already there, right? But yeah, we're gonna go to cardinal direction, and then we're just gonna head off. My plan is to place a can in each cardinal direction, and we're gonna use that to create the points above and below. Although maybe with this tool here, where you can just set the angle, you can find the 0 degree up or 0 degree down angle perfectly. Anyway, I'll use the cans. I'll use the cans in the keep at range method. And then we will have the 6 cardinal directions, and from there it should be an easy matter to start from one of them and generate the corners. And also, by using this kind of method, we don't need to start by making the biggest cube ever. We could make a small cube, and then if we like the place, we could then expand it, which is what I'm probably going to do. I'll make maybe I will make a 150 kilometer cube, maybe 300, but no bigger than that. Alright, so now we are 10 kilometers from the center. The last cube I made, it has a point every it does have a point every 100. But I actually think that's wrong. I think we should have a point either every 50 or every 150. I gotta just think a little bit. So if we have it every 100, what ends up happening is that you can't warp to the closest point because it's too close. Like it's at 100, not 150. You have to go to 200, right? Like, sounds weird, but by having the points closer, we can't warp. Like the closest warpable point is now at 200 rather than at 150. So you don't have the ability to warp to 100 to a 150 point. So basically, you know, like the best you can do is warp to 100 at a 100 kilometer point. So there's this blind zone, which is 100 kilometers deep. But if we have the points every 150 kilometers, I think the blind zone is only 50 kilometers. Yeah. So yeah, if we have them every 150, then that's the blind zone. I don't think there is a benefit to having them every 50 instead. There might be one. So yeah, I'm not sure if there's a point to having them every 50 kilometers. It would be a lot more work, obviously. More points. It may make sense to build it 50 kilometers at a time and then delete 2/3 of it, but wouldn't that be, yeah, that would be the same amount of work as just making it high resolution in the first place. Hmm. Oh, well, this is a tragedy. We have a bit of a issue here. I guess we can. Go 150. Now we're gonna end up at close to 160. Well, we are from the center, but apparently this thing is about 3 kilometers 3 kilometers thick from the center to the edge. So I'm just gonna have to center it using this screen. Oh, but we have our position. You know what we can do? Oh no, that wouldn't work. I was gonna say we can just keep at range, right? Which, curiously, you cannot even use on a gate. But we could have used orbit as a kind of substitute. But the problem is it's gonna be range from the surface. It's gonna be a little bit wrong. I want this cube to be centered on the gate. I I do think this is the place. I suppose the precision is kind of sus anyway. Like travel, travel, travel. What the fuck? That was a big elevation change. That wasn't poggers at all. I just barely touched the mouse. Right. L? Don't touch anything. There we go. Did I forget to unload one? No. I couldn't see this. Maybe it was in the blind spot of my eye. Maybe, who knows? Couldn't see that one. Alright, so this becomes 0, 1, 0. Oh fuck. Oh fuck, it's going in the same. Oh no. Oh no, don't tell me I just overwrote it. I guess I can delete it. I wonder if I deleted it over here. I want 0, 0, 1, 0. It still exists. Alright, let's save this the default folder. 0, 1, 0. This becomes 1, 0, 0. Alright. We have our points. This I was about to destroy it, but I guess we'll find out if it disappears. Alright, trigonometry. Ay. So these are gonna form like a triangle or whatever. It's gonna be oh, you can't keep the gate at range. I guess it doesn't matter. Isn't it like the triangle math? It's like this, right? And then that becomes the number of meters that they keep at range 2. Now we should be able to sort of eject ourselves. You cannot keep container at range. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Well, there went that plan. wonder if there's something else you can keep at range. What about a mobile depot? What about a warp disruptor? I know I can keep a warp disruptor at range. I've done it. I see. Okay, minor complication, but not a problem. Alright, well these are literally useless to me, so let's retrieve our ammo. Destroy the can in the process. Alright, let us deploy something we can keep at range. Yeah, it's not the most accurate placement, but then again, neither was the can. We're running low on bubbles, actually. Frustrating. Have it happen right now. I do think we have enough though. I think suppose we only technically need 3. If we recycle them. Actually, we need 4 in order to construct the north and the south points. That's the most we need. We need 4 to start with, and then once we've constructed the north and the south point, then we only ever need 3 from that point on. Alright. Now we keep at range on our own creations. We take turns doing it. We're going to keep at range on the closest one repeatedly. I suppose for doing this, you could actually use mobile depots. Although, I guess the enemy would bookmark them too. But yeah, mobile depots cannot be like destroyed. They can be put into reinforce. So if you're being messed with by your enemy, you can use mobile depots to guarantee you can't be messed with. Actually, I suppose we want to repeatedly use it on the furthest and closest, maybe. Now we're doing furthest. Next one's going to be closest. This should center us. Actually, we may want to not sort them by range at all for a while. Are they jumping around? Number 2. Oh, they are jumping around. We're not supposed to do that. Why are they jumping around? I guess we can fix it by looking at them. Proof by looking at it. Yeah, it's working. I suppose we are kind of in position now, so I'm going to turn off the afterburner for more precision. That one is the most different one. Yeah, you just target the one that you're most off. Which I suppose boils down to alternating the minimum and the maximum. Yeah, let's turn on the cloak. Yeah, maybe it's silly to obsess over these last few kilometers. Probably is silly, honestly. I guess I'm just doing it to test how long it would take to get it just right. Not like you would be able to tell, like you wouldn't be able to know that it's not perfectly centered, you know? Actually, I suppose since I didn't place them literally perfectly because there's the random deviation, um, there's no way to know. Uh, like I assumed I placed them perfectly when I did the calculation for what keep at range to use, but since I didn't place them perfectly, they're not going to all obediently be at 112 and the gate to be at 148 or whatever, or 47 or whatever the distance to surface should be on the gate. But I mean, it is approximately this, right? This is the top of the north direction. Alright. Because I didn't place them perfectly or whatever, let's just we'll just go around 3 times. We'll just center it in 3 times. Oh, the camera turns. I guess the right way to do it is to right click. Just hypothetically, if I wanted to do it with the wheel, we do get a number. That's this. Yeah, we do something like that. Alright, let's go around in a circle. I guess it's possible this method doesn't really work because you can't control the you can't really control the position of the deployables. They deploy within like I think 2.5 kilometers of you. So then relying on a specific heap at range wouldn't work. To really do this, I guess you would need 5 accounts then. You would need a ship at each one because you can control where the ship goes because the ship is manually piloted there using the method I used to travel there. I guess that would be the way to do it. For a very perfectly aligned cube, you would need 5 accounts. Well, theoretically just 3, but I guess if you do 3 of do this one, and this one, or you can choose any 3. You can do whichever 3 you want, and then theoretically that can work. We need 4 accounts. 3 for points and 1 for generating the next point. Either way, let's call this the north point, right? So this would be 0, 0, 1. Then we gotta go south. Now we're just gonna do the same thing south. Oh, you know what I should have done? Let's try it. I'm gonna try to do the movement disk and see how accurate we get. Go to 150 or 300. $300. Bit hard to find it. Find the snap point. All right. I mean, in a way, it doesn't work, right? Because if we did it right, we should collide with the gate. So then none of this is gonna... We're gonna be bounced off. And if our... Actually, oh, no! No, it will not matter, because this is an approach command. We're gonna end up down there regardless. We're going to a point. I can't tell anything being wrong. Hardly say it's wrong. Alright, this becomes the 0, 0, -1. Okay. So from here we can make the corner point by, for example, warping over here and picking up the warping back there. Now we want exactly 150. Wait, I'm stupid, am I not? Yeah, I think... No, I'm being silly. That's not the corner. Always this distance, actually. The distance. But yeah, so that's the corner. So now we are in the 1-1 -1 position. Yeah, so that's the idea. That's how you do it. Yeah, so you make the 4, then you use those to make the up and down, then you can use any 3 you want to make any corner you want, and then once you've made all the corners, you fill it in. And the way you would extend it, once you had filled it in, right? Once you'd added all the corner points, and so this would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus 8, right? The way you would extend it would be, the point doesn't exist yet, but if you imagine off to the side here, there's a copy of this point just at a higher elevation. You would just do the same trick again, like you would use the cardinal points or even the corner points at that point to construct the next one up, right? Or the next one out. You would just go from there. In fact, there might be a way to you could just make, actually, you know what you could do? You could just make the next corner point directly from the first cardinal points, because it's just a question of math, right? You just need to calculate the keep at range. You can keep at range up to up to 1,000 kilometers, right? So yeah, actually, never mind. You would just make the next corner point directly. You would just calculate whatever the shape would be, what the distance would have to be. You imagine that the corner point is like forming kind of like a pyramid. These 3 guys. And then you calculate the length of the side. But yeah, whatever. That's how you do it. I'm not sure if I feel like doing it now, though. Alright, let's make this corner. I'll do it after all. position. One. Yeah, unless something else comes up, I'm just going to, I guess, practice doing this. Figure out the best method. I'm gonna extending the corner is the real trick I want to do. I want to just be able to, if the cube were to need to be bigger, like how would I do it? Like what's the easiest way? And it is to just calculate that. I need to actually look this up. I was using the Pythagoras theorem stuff to just do it like once. I was kind of imagining it as a triangle, but if you're gonna extend it 2 units out, I guess it would be different. Actually, wouldn't it just be the same? It would be the same logic, right? So it would be 150 times 150 plus like this. And then finally it would be like that. So that should be it actually. I'll try it later. But, that should be it. Alright, let's fly off. Yeah, you just keep a range on the one that is the most wrong. That's the algorithm basically. Rogue Venom in his Squall. Can't kill. I was considering today going through a third account. I mean I have half a trillion, right? So I could apparently it would cost me 110 billion to like instantly inject a third account up to the same skill points as my 2 accounts. I was considering it, and I may do it actually. But then I realized that basically what I want to do is I want to have Blops, Blops Sino, carrier pilot, and force recon ship. So then the idea is you use a covert ops frigate to Blops Sino in force recon ship, and then you log off and then use the force recon ship with the carrier to transport people who want to move to the camp. But I realized I don't actually need a third account to do it because you don't need to blops bridge the force recon ship because it doesn't have the ability to bypass gate camps perfectly. But because of the nature of the task, you can always sneak, like, enemy gate camps are not control of gates is not 100%, right? People always leave gaps in the guards, right? So for a force recon Sino, that's just going to be stashed in a POS. You don't actually need like a guaranteed way to smuggle it in, because you can smuggle it in whenever you want, because it's not something that's gonna hopefully die that often. So you could smuggle it in right before downtime or something. Always possible to get them in, I think. So yeah, I don't strictly need a third account, but I am still considering it. Like 12 hours ago, I was pretty sure I needed one, so I was kind of set on getting one, but then I realized there's a way to achieve what I wanted to do with it, with just two. Alright, what is the name of this place? Would have a 1 and a -1. 1, -1, 1. I'm just thinking right now, how many corner points do I actually need? If I make all 8, I know I can do everything, right? But do we even need all 8? Like, imagine I make a plane here. Like, imagine I make these 4. Then we can complete that side. And from there, if I have one corner point over there, then I can draw a line. I guess I do need all. Yeah, actually, I do need all. Alright, I'm gonna gonna go walk my dog fast here. Nobody finds me here. Hmm. Now, while I was away, I had the thought that it's probably easier. Um, as an example, let's just jump to the gate real fast. It's probably easier to just use the Q piloting to easily center on any object. So we can use the so rather than what I'm doing with the pushing off the points, it's probably easier to first find the up direction, which we do by repeatedly just clicking up until we get the flip. We just click in the center. Get the flip again. Guess we can click here. The moment you point directly up, the perspective will rotate like that. Suppose we can. Oh, that doesn't work. Going sideways does not work. You have to. By the way, the point is you travel up. You travel up first, and once you've done that, you can. Then we can center after. Like we can click like this, and get anything we want centered below us easily. So we don't need to. Actually, I suppose almost doesn't matter how we do it. I'm just gonna go roughly 150 kilometers above the gate. Alright, there we go. That's the magic place. We just keep clicking. Yeah, and I guess we don't even need to get the altitude that accurately. We can just move slowly and stop our ship when we are at the desired distance. Actually, there is a way to push off the gate. You just do this. Now we can move towards the gate, we can push off the gate, and above it we can align ourselves. So I thought anyway. It does seem there's a bit of an issue. It seems you can't put the camera directly above anything at all. Never mind. This might kill the idea. Yeah, the idea was to use the Q piloting to position our to move on the X and the Y plane to get directly above whatever we wanted to get above. Yeah, well, okay. Never mind. I guess we do need to... Unless there's some solution to this, we do need a way to... Line. I guess we can align... the problem is only in like this direction. There's no problem in this direction, so... I guess we could angle this thing. Maybe like that. I guess this kind of works. What's that targeting line? I guess that might be a way. The line that's drawn from your ship to the gate, to the thing you've highlighted. I guess that's a way to... If you form a right angle, to the extent that you can measure that with your eyes. Let's see what it looks like. Like if we unalign it, let's go off to the side. Now it's definitely going to be wrong. Let's see what trick we can use. Yeah, now it looks wrong. But I can, if I turn the camera, there's a way to get the target pointer line and the sort of cardinal direction line to line up. But then it doesn't look aligned relative to my screen. So I guess that's the way to do it. Is you align cardinal directions to be up and down on your screen like this. I believe it's aligned now, and then you move sideways until the target direction line is lined up with this one. Okay, we have a way to get directly above something. The only issue now is the distance from the thing we're going to be above. I know this must, if anybody's watching this, I know this must be like horribly boring, but I'm just interested in figuring out the best way to do this. Yeah, I'm happy with this position. I believe we are above it on this dimension. Now I'm going to rotate around. Again, we're going to line the cardinal direction thingy. There we go. I think we actually are above it. 30 kilometers to the side. Prove that it would have looked fucked. Yeah, it would have. Okay, we have a way to just kind of get above it. Then the only thing we would need would be an altitude method. Fundamentally, the problem is... actually, can I bookmark the gate? Oh, that's how we do it. So because the gate object is the surface of the it's like the collision surface, right? It's drawing a line between like the edge of my ship to the edge of the gate, right? But the bookmark is in the middle. So yeah, that's how we do it. Yeah, we use a bookmark to find the center, and then we can use that to adjust our up and down direction. Let's do it now. Although we're first going to center above it. There's also this that line. Oh, that's the I see. Indicating the angle. Wait, what are these? Are these the I'm using this blue line here, blue notch, but are these just bookmarks? No, I do think they are cardinal directions. I'm gonna warp to a random place just to see. They're bookmarks, they should all collapse. No, they didn't. Yeah, so these little blue notches, those are the cardinal directions. Any way to reset my view? Obviously behind the ship is no good. But tactical overlay, now that's no good either. Or the tactical camera. But yeah, so the way you do it is you use these blue notches to get the right rotation so that the cardinal directions are in the cardinal directions. And then from there you can use the line to the highlighted object to determine if you are above or below it, or if you are different from it. Debating the usefulness of this push off functionality. It's not that useful because you would need to somehow get directly above it at short range. Maybe we can. Okay, let's actually let's try that actually. First go out a few kilometers and then get directly above it. Go all the way. Yeah, and by doing this, we could, if we wanted to, we could reduce our orbit distance until we get to 150 from the bookmark. Alright, now we are supposedly above it. Yeah, I guess this is how you do it. You just fly higher than you need to go. Then you use the method to get directly above it, and then you can approach it at low speed until you get down to the altitude you need. And that's how you do it in general. And once you are at a given altitude, you can just use the approach move, using the disc to move in the plane at that altitude. Like that. Pretty close to what we got. Pretty good accuracy. And we could have gotten better accuracy by going further, by placing each of these. The method where we push against the fixed points. If we'd gone further out using the approach move, then the imprecision from the random spawning of the objects would have been less significant. And yeah, so we could have gone like the most we could have gone, because the maximum keep out range is 1,000. So I suppose it would have to be. What a coincidence. 700 is the size of my big cube anyway. Yeah, if we'd gone 700 in every direction, then we would have kept that range at that range. Produce the corner point. But yeah, now that we are here, I would honestly just use this. I would just use this method. 150 here, and then I would do another one. I think that's just faster, rather than pushing on the corner points all the time. I think that's the way. You make your four cardinal points, and then you push against them to you can push against them to move up and move down, and then once you have the central point, you can make whatever you need at that place. I think for altitude you can use either the method I just used now, or use the push method from 4 cardinal points to push up and then push down. But once you are there, rather than use the push method to generate a perfect corner point, I think it's actually just better to it's better to just use this method. Just line it up. Just go. And fly directly to the corner. Yeah, I will make a small corner now. Small cube, I mean. Small corner. The reason I investigated how to build the cube now is because there's been some talk about trying to camp some different locations, and so I'd like to know like the fastest way to build the cube and build it again. Wait, I just got the mistake again. I got this weird weird Z. We just got some angle there. I didn't mean to do that. Alright, so this would be 1, so this means it's -1, -1, -1, -1, 1. It might be better to do this in two steps. Alright, they're gonna try to decloak my Tengu here. Don't believe they will hit me. The chance is very low. I think the conclusion I came to is that the the method of doing what I just did is very useful. And it is how I'm gonna maneuver on the plane. But the way I'm gonna do the altitude is using the push method. Push on the multiple warp disruptor method. I do think it's just a lot of work to center yourself above the thing. Otherwise. Yes, I'll write down what I learned. Hey, someone figured out that Quasimorph is a great game. Sure is a great -1. 1, -1. Alright, those are the corner points. Goes from here, we don't need anything else. And now the question is, do we want to... I mean, I can warp to 100 between them. I guess ultimately I will have to warp at 50 regardless of the method. Do that now. Yeah, let's just think about how much work would this be. Well, now we need to get creative. I guess the next step is to go here and then warp to 100. Okay, so by doing it this way, there's no blind spots, but wait, what? Oh no, I should have warped to 50. But it's way more work, because this is only a 150 kilometer cube. This would be a lot of work. That's 150, then do a 600 one. I mean, it's just this, right? Plus 1, right? 13 by 13 by 13. That's a lot of work. The one I did 2 days ago was this many. That is too much, I can say. It's not, well, too much is too much is I guess a context dependent idea. I mean, it's too much to just like try something. We have to be really sure that we want to camp that place for a long time. Then we could do it. Especially if multiple people work on it. Either way, I think I've figured out how I would build them. I would use this method here to move the X and the Y directions. And I would use keep at range on preferably something deployed at really long range in each cardinal direction. I'd use the keep at range to push myself either up or down to get the final 2 points of the 6. The goal is really just to get the up and the down point. I mean, these side points, the north, south, east, west, are actually pointless. They don't actually do anything. But what matters is to get the up and the down point, because that's the starting point for generating the corners. Really all that matters. In any case, I'm pretty sick of thinking about this or working on this right now, so I'm gonna call it here. Today was a very boring day. I will inject a carrier and a Razut. I can transport people out here. That's been an issue the last couple of times, is getting people out here. Silly. What I'm doing now is not really worth my time. I guess it's to conceal these points from other people who might use them. Not that that's very likely, but clean them up. They're only 2 million each, so really not worth my time to do this. My ISK per hour is 9 billion. And yeah. Working this hard to save 2 million each is kind of silly. Figuring it out. I guess it might have been faster to anchor and then blow them up. More important one, let's get that one first. Alright, I can say that I do not want to place down 1 every 50 kilometers, even though that's what's required for the perfect coverage. That is way too much work for me right now. I guess I'm curious if there is a way to start with 100 or maybe even 200 as your resolution size, and then like reduce it over time. Very well might be. Let me just think about it. They're 200 apart. Well, first statement is if they're 200 apart, you can generate generate a 100 resolution by just warping at 100 between them. That would obviously work. You could go from 100 to having 1 every 50 for the ultimate resolution. Yes. I suppose the question would be, how would you even generate anything bigger than 100 initially? Because you can't warp at more than 100. That would have to be some kind of keep at range method. Which sounds like it would be a huge amount of work to do. Oh, I suppose we could use we could use this. Use the disk. Yeah, I guess. Use the disk to move 200 at a time. Or any distance. Well, not quite. Vision is shit here, but at least do 400. So, if our goal is to eventually grow it to a 700 by 700 by 700 size, we can't really cut that in half. If we cut that in half, we're going to go from 700 to 350 and then to 175. So that doesn't neatly work. Actually, no. I'm not going for a 700 by 700 by 700. I'm going for a 600 by 600 by 600. So we could use the disk to start out at a 150. We make the corner points. That's my maximum zoom. I guess we would do 2 steps of 300. We would do we travel twice 300 to go from one corner to the next corner, make all the corners, and then once we've done that, we would need to warp repeatedly. The first warp would get us to 500, and then we'd go back and we warp again. We would need to, in order to get the altitudes right, like the points that go up and down, we would need to repeatedly warp a few times, but it's not like a big deal. You don't need to rename a million bookmarks or anything. We just warp and make a bookmark that's temporary and use that to walk our way down to 300. And then we would have one at 600, 300, and 0, I guess, on the cube. That would be the low resolution cube. We would build it fully sized, but low resolution. I guess we could actually reduce the size. So we could start with a 300 cube, 300 by 300 by 300, and the points would be just the corners, really, like a low resolution 300 by 300 by 300 cube. That would be the minimum. All right. Keep the last one in the scepter. Not much was learned, but not much was done, but we learned how to make cubes with minimum effort. I'll probably look at some of the other locations that have been suggested and make some minimum effort cubes. Small ones. And we can just kind of rotate around and see which ones tend to be. It's a balance between traffic and like how close it is to like their stager, basically. Like something that's trafficked but also inconvenient for them to respond to, ideally. All right. That's it for today.